Hello and welcome back to the channel. So on with the first bit of gaming news. Sorry this is a bit late, I've just been busy this weekend with all sorts of bits and bobs. It's the holidays now, so I'm enjoying the sun, so I'm trying to get out more. Because I've got a bit of a break from work. But let's get on with the gaming news anyway, instead of waffling on about my personal life. Microsoft officially discontinues Xbox One X and all digital model. Right, what this is basically about, what's happening here, you've got a lot of weird fanboys jumping on this, trying to make out it's a bad thing. What they're trying to do, what they are basically doing, it's a business really, economics is what you do. They're discontinuing their Xbox One X and all digital model because why continue it? Why spend money producing a console when there's a new generation coming? They're not taking the consoles off the shelves, they just stop making them, stop using money to produce them. So you can still buy an Xbox One X, whatever's on the shelves anywhere, or an all digital model. They're just not going to make any more. That's simply all it is, because it's next generation. They want you to buy, if possible, the next generation consoles. They've got two next generation consoles coming out, Xbox Series X and the sort of Xbox Series Digital Edition, or Digital Edition. They want you to buy them. Or, if you already own them, they want you to play on your Xbox X or whatever, because the games are going to be cross-gen, so you can play them wherever you like. So it's sort of a bit of a weird narrative, because as some of you are probably aware, I do chat to and I like to debate, and I like to debate with gamers of all sides, of wherever your sort of preference. So, and I do have a few friends that are PS4 gamers and are strongly PS4 things. So I've deleted the message here. It's nothing rude or anything. I've deleted it just so you can see more of what he said. So otherwise, if I had my message there, it'd break it up in half. I've done that so you can see all what he said. So he thinks like we're holding back. He thinks that by them discontinuing that, we're holding back technology. Unsure, and he's also outlined this for me to read. You know, which is what Phil said, which is, and he's underlined that as if it's anti-consumer, but he's correct. You won't be forced into next generation. We want every player to play on all the new games from Xbox Studios. That's why Xbox Game Studios titles will release in the next couple of years, like Halo Infinite, will be available and play great on Xbox Series X and Xbox One. We won't force you to upgrade. This is true, and I'm not sure what his point is, but it's another narrative that's been carried across that fan base and by a lot of that fan YouTube sites, Sony YouTube sites, which is absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely illogical, and it's anti-consumer not to do this. What Sony are doing? Let me just reiterate here. Sony, what they're doing now is that they've come out. They're going to make 10 million PS5 consoles. So let's look at that, right? So they're going to make 10 million PS5 consoles. So from the start, there's only going to be 10 million PS5 consoles. Then they're going to make games exclusives. So only people with those 10 million consoles can play their games. There's been 110 PS4 sold. So if only 10 million of those 110 buy the PS5 console, what do the other 100 million do? The other 100 million PS4 owners, what are they going to play? Because the next generation games are not going to be cross-gen. So you can't play any, there won't be no PS4 games. So you're going to own a PS4, you won't have a PS5, you can't play any of the PS5 games because they're no cross-gen, and there's no new PS4 games coming out. So you're going to own a PS4 with nothing to play on it until they increase production so there's more PS5s to buy. That is anti-consumer. They're just dumping 100 million fans basically. Whereas so this is another point. When Spider-Man, which is only a 7-hour expansion to the original Spider-Man game, which I'm pretty sure was going to be PS4, and they've delayed it because they've got nothing to drop at launch. Let's just say Spider-Man launches and it sells 10 million. Right? That's amazing. It sells 10 million copies on its first day. Right? So it's 10 million consoles are sold. It sells 10 million copies. That's its maximum it can sell. It can only sell a maximum of 10 million copies because there are only 10 million consoles in the market. However, Halo Infinite, because it's cross-gen, will be available to how many Xbox Series there are on the market, plus however there are Xbox Ones on the market, which we know is 50 million, plus PC. So let's do a quick math there. You've got how many Xbox Series X's? Let's say 5 million. You've got Xbox Ones, that's 50 million. So that's already 55 million consoles. People playing Halo Infinite. Plus PC. Let's just boost it up to, let's say, 100 million. So from day one, 100 million could possibly play Halo Infinite versus Spider-Man, which at maximum only 10 million can play. This is the benefit of cross-gen, you see, Sony. It's what you're not getting. You'll make far more money making your games cross-gen, and you won't be anti-consumer and leaving 100 million PS4 owners behind who are going to be sitting there twiddling their fingers waiting for you to produce more consoles. It's ridiculous. So I cannot see this guy's point. He's trying to say that Xbox are holding back technology. I'm not sure how they're holding back technology by stopping the production of old technology and offering you the chance to buy a new game, a new console, which is new technology and the most powerful on the market. In addition, he goes on to say the fact that they are not being built exclusively for next gen means they are held back by old limitations. Like I said, you should have kept your 360. No, and as I rightfully say there, why'd you buy a new car or a new why'd you buy a new TV or a new phone? Why'd you buy a new anything? It's to upgrade. And then, but once you buy that upgrade, doesn't mean then you lose all previous upgrades. If you buy a new phone, doesn't mean now you lose all your previous apps and messages and things from your older phone. Now you've gone with a new phone. It's a car, you know. You don't suddenly lose everything you had in your old car, all your knowledge and stuff you had in your old car. It carries through. Your TV, if you buy a new TV, you can't only it's not exclusive programs, just that TV. No. But the point here I'm trying to make to him is wrong again. This is another narrative that's trying to be misleading, false propaganda to just downplay Xbox. Cross-gen games will scale to whatever console you got, pretty much like your PC. If someone talks about they own a gaming PC which runs everything 8K, 120 FPS, right? They can play a game at that. Say, my laptop, I've got 1 terabyte laptop. It's a very basic laptop. I can still play the same game with them, albeit it won't be as good, but I can still play the same game because of the smart delivery that PCs have naturally. You can put any game into your PC. That's why if you look at the back of a box, it's got recommendations, requirements, and stuff like that. It will tell you what PCs can run this game, what PCs and what PC you should have to run it at best quality. Exactly the same principle for Xbox. If you want the best quality game, you buy Xbox Series X, but your games will still be available to play on your Xbox One. It's almost like required and recommended, just like a PC. Exactly the same. There is nothing being held back at all whatsoever. It's a false narrative. Tell you what, don't take my word for it. Take Phil's word for it, who said it back on the 10th of July. Xbox Series X gamers aren't being held back by cross-gen development, say Spencer. He goes on to say, and actually really just slaps the shit out of the fan base that are trying to claim it. Frankly, held back is a meme that gets created by people who are too caught up in the device competition, said Spencer. I just look at Windows. It's almost certain if the developer is building a Windows version of their game, then the most powerful and highest fidelity version is the PC version. He basically confirms here, as you can see, Xbox boss Phil Spencer brushed off the opinion that Xbox Series games will be held back by Microsoft development studios creating games that are also compatible with Xbox One. No. He's basically saying no, it works across a set of hardware, just like PC. So I'm completely lost and baffled by them trying to run the narrative that the games will be held back. Who's ever said that about PC? When people come out and go, oh, I've got a gaming rig, I've got it, games run best, I don't go to them, oh no, your game's held back because I own a a Dell 1 terabyte PC, so your games on your PC are held back by my PC. No one does that. No one has that argument. It's just a false narrative people trying to push. So there we have it. They've discontinued Xbox One X, Xbox X and Xbox Digital because they're pushing for the new consoles, and games will be running cross-gen and work perfectly fine. Whatever console you have, it will work best on that one. If it's an Xbox Series X, for example. Let's move on to the next bit of news. So, Metacritic stops letting you review games on the day they're released. Oh, where to start with this? Okay, all generation basically across Xbox and PC. Games have been review bombed with negative reviews from fan bases. Metacritic's not cared. Nobody's really cared because of the media, how their preference of one console, which has come out and true because IGN have come out more or less said it themselves. We have recently I can't remember the lady's name who works for IGN. She's got a YouTube channel. She says more or less that they've sort of pushed into writing game reviews in a certain way that put a certain console in a better light. So this is interesting because now Metacritic stops letting review games on the day they're released. Firstly, user reviews have always been a bit hit and miss because yes, they do get review bombed. But firstly, I'd like to stab at Geeks and Gamers YouTube channel. Highlighted they had someone that done a breakdown, and they can look into. I'm not sure what it is, how it works, but they can look in. I don't know if it follows the IPs of the people doing the reviews. But they found out that 47% of positive reviews, because this all comes back to The Last of Us 2 backlash and user reviews on Metacritic, 47% of positive reviews were fake reviews for The Last of Us 2. That's positive reviews. So that means the positive reviews for The Last of Us 2 were also review bombed, but in a positive way, not a negative way. Because you can have it both ways. You can have review bombing for positive and review bombing for negative. What happened? So 47% of the positive reviews for The Last of Us 2 were fake. 47%, that's quite a big number, quite a big percentage. But that doesn't seem to be a problem with anyone. It's sort of, yes, okay, give fake positive reviews. Yeah, that's okay, that's fine. We allow that. Give negative ones. Oh no, we don't allow that. That's not right. How's that logical? How does that make any sense whatsoever? The thing is, the lot of because if you can look across the internet, you can look at YouTube, as I was shown in previous videos. PewDiePie, Angry Joe, even Boogie now. There's so many YouTubers and YouTube channels that have jumped on, pretty much have finally played through The Last of Us 2 and have come out and rated it 5 and 6 out of 10, saying it's actually awful. And a lot of gamers are supporting this. People are playing it. It's not just people that have not played the game. I'm sorry, that's a lie. It's an absolute lie. It's absolute falsehood. You can read all the comments in people's things. They're playing the game, they dislike it, and they're giving reasons. One site comes out and tries to make, that's what they tried to make in this thing, I think it's further down possibly. They tried to say it's to do with the sort of lesbian, gay sort of hatred for the game. It's got nothing to do with that. That's not why people are saying they dislike the game. The main factors why they dislike the game is, one, they dislike Abby. She's a terrible character, they disliked her, and she just thrown down your throat and you're made to play for 10 hours. Secondly, they said the ending was absolutely awful and terrible. It just didn't tie up anything. But mainly is Joel being killed. He's killed off really quickly in a really crappy way, and it goes against all what they've just shown you and built up in the first game. It completely contradicts the first game. This is why people are hating it and scoring it low. It's got nothing to do with the lesbian, gay, transgender stuff that's happening in the game. You might have the odd pair of people that go, yeah, I don't like that, it's not right. But that's not why people are review bombing it. That is why. So it just annoys me now they've decided, just because The Last of Us 2 that belongs to precious Sony, oh no, we can't have Sony sort of getting some negative reviews. Let's just remove it now. After all the generation of review bombing Xbox games and PC games, as soon as a Sony review game is review bombed, they remove it. I think you can't now review the game for 36 hours in. You have to wait for 36 hours or something like that, which is just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, that's really just my take on that. It's clearly biased. It's just, there's Forbes that brought attention today with their just nonsense and complete defending of The Last of Us 2 and Sony. Absolute nonsense. I mean, let's not go on. I've shown it before in here how basically Forbes basically review bombs Xbox all the time, making up stuff. I think I've highlighted that many times in here. Let's ban Forbes, shall we? Should ban half these companies that basically just clickbait reviews and stuff. But it's just absolute political nonsense, really, and it's only just showing the bias out of Metacritic. Metacritic's a flawed system anyway, but it just shows the bias now that just because Sony's been review bombed in a game now, they've decided to change the rules. It's been review bombing all year. They've not given a crap, but now it's happened to Sony. Now it's time to step up and do something about it. Okay, we'll see how that works. Yeah, well done for that. Well done, Metacritic. Absolute nonsense. Let's move on to the next bit of news. Okay, update. Microsoft confirms 12-month Xbox Live Gold subscription removal was not a mistake. Now, this is basically on the store. People reporting that the 12 months Xbox Live subscription model has vanished. You can't buy it now. You can only buy 1 month or 3 months now. and they thought it might be a mistake. But Xbox come out and said, no, it's not a mistake. We've removed. You cannot you can no longer buy the 12-month subscription, which oddly is for sale right there. 12 months subscription. So I'm not sure what's happening there. A Microsoft spokesman said, at this time, Xbox has decided to remove the 12 months Xbox Live's Gold SKU from Microsoft Online Store. Customers can still sign up for 1 month or 3 months subscription. So my take on this, right? So they're looking. Lots of you will be aware that they're slowly. They want you on Game Pass basically. So my take on this is they're dropping the 12 months because, well, these new consoles launch in 3 months' time. Is it more or less? So why are they not letting you have a 12-month subscription? Now, are they going to altogether remove Gold? So next generation, it will be free to play on the Xbox. However, you can pay for Game Pass, which, if you're not paying for Xbox Live, a lot of those people will go, oh, I might as well buy Game Pass then, and then purchase Game Pass. That would make absolutely 100%, because right now I think the only thing that puts people off is paying for Xbox Live and then paying for Game Pass. They have sort of merged them a bit more money. They did merge them, but then you're thinking, what's the point of merging them? Why not just get rid of one? Why not just get rid of Game Pass now? I reckon next generation, I'm going to say it here, I've got a feeling they're going to drop Xbox Live. I think it's going to become free. Xbox Live will be free, but you can buy Game Pass where you get everything, all the games free, blah, blah, blah. I think that's what they're moving to, and that's why you can only buy 1 or 3 months, which basically just takes you up enough to take you up to the next generation, and then after that, that's it. Bosh. Which will be an incredible move if true, if Gold for the first time becomes free, because Sony won't be able to follow that. Sony will not have the money to be able to say, right, PS Plus is now free. They will not be able to do that. They will be able to keep up. So that would be an amazing move. But that's really all I've got to say on that. For those who didn't know, yeah, 12 months you can't buy anymore. Still buy Game Pass, cannot buy Gold for 12 months anymore. And that's that. Let's move on to the next bit of news. Finally on to this, Far Cry 6 to run at 4K HDR only on the Xbox Series X. PlayStation 5 fans would not agree, and for good reason. This is basically something that has been floating about on Twitter and stuff. The Xbox Series X and Xbox One X will be having Far Cry 6 as 4K game, and it will be exclusive. The 4K aspect will be exclusive to those consoles. It's not false advertising, it's just branding. As it goes on to read, this is just how they brand stuff, just like how Sony brands certain things. So it's just branding, and I think things are taken a bit out of context in all of this. Bottom line is, there is no reason why I believe why the PS5 shouldn't run this game at 4K. 4K Ultra maybe, HD may be something different, but there's no reason why the PS5 shouldn't run it at 4K as far as we're aware right now. So I believe, yes, I do believe that both consoles, Xbox Series X and PS5, reading this and looking into the stats of the consoles, both consoles should run at 4K for this game, if you actually even care for this game. Do you care for this game? I personally don't, and I think they've sort of dropped off. So there's a comparison though there if you're interested. PS4 Pro versus Xbox One X. There was a big comparison in 4K there between two consoles, but I think that gap should be smaller on PS5 and Xbox Series X. So, anyway, we won't know till February 18th, 2021 anyway. So, yes. Yeah, you can see down there it's taken a bit out of context there. An Xbox One and Xbox Series X only. Yeah, okay. Right, so that's that. That's pretty much that news, really. It's not much news. My opinion is it's probably just a bit of false hype by some people, and other people are just going to be upset and salty because well, their side's not really just swinging too well at the moment. I don't believe their show was lackluster. Oh, by the way, we've got the Xbox game reveal on Thursday, I think. This Thursday, 23rd of July, I believe. So look out for that. Thank you for watching my channel. Please sub, please share. I've got other videos, news videos, which I'll highlight here. And also look out for my podcast. I'm going to show my recent podcast as well as I've got another one coming up soon. So thank you all for watching, and goodbye for now.